So I'm recording a bit of feedback for the most recent past paper that you've had a go at. The Numeracy Unit 1 non-calculator from 25th of May 2017. You'll also have the mark scheme issued to you, but if I talk through the questions, it might be a little bit easier to understand. So, first thing to note is that this first page has a formula list. This is not a question. If there's a question about a trapezium, then this will be very handy. Okay, so Owen buys houses in Wales, he then rents them out to people. He uses a website to find the average price of a detached house in 6 different counties. It's always important to read the question first. We've got the different prices there. Calculate the difference between the average house price in the most expensive and least expensive county. So look up and down the table. You've got the most expensive one, the biggest number, the least expensive one, the lowest number. Subtraction. Just show some workings because it's worth a couple of marks. It says give your answer to the nearest £1,000. So there's the full accurate answer, but nearest 1,000 is going to be 125,000. When it says the average house price in 4 of the counties is less than 180, is he correct? Just have a look at the list. So 4 being less than 180, we've only got 1, 2, 3. There's only 3 of them. So no, he's not correct. There's only 3 places. It says give a reason, so saying that last bit is very important. Which of the following is the best approximation for the average house price in Powys? So let's have a look. Actual one is 199,998, and so this is only £2 off. All of these are further away. Okay, this is very close, but £8 off. This is the closest one. Even though it's not got any of the same digits, it's the closest one, so that's what you should be looking for. Right, question 2. Tamsin and Sophie make biscuits. They plan to cover the top of the biscuits in the same thickness of chocolate. The biscuits are shown on a centimetre grid. Tamsin thinks that Sophie's biscuit will need more chocolate. Estimate the area of each, decide whether she's correct or not. So just have a look at counting squares. So you can see a lot of these are very full squares. Some of these are most squares, and you're not going to count the little tiny ones. And you can almost think of, it seems like a lot of this one, but we didn't count it. It's because, well, there's a lot of this one missing and we did count it. So it's probably best to sort of, if you think this is a half square, well, that's a half square as well. Count every other half square. So if you just figure out roughly how many squares it takes up, you're going to get that Tamsin's is about 21. The mark scheme allows anything between 17 and 25, so it's not exact here. It's just rough. And then Sophie's is 25. Sophie could have anywhere between 22 and 27. And so, yes, she's correct. Okay, so if we have a look at the next question. So Tamsin and Sophie carried out a survey to find out which biscuit is most popular. 4 most popular biscuits were chocolate cookies, custard creams, jammy dodgers, and digestives. Design a tally chart for them to collect their data. So you just need something where it's biscuit type, tally, and frequency. So you have the tallies. Instead of frequency, you could say total. So there's the 4 most popular types. But because they're just the 4 most popular types, you need some other column on there as well to get the last mark. Thomas makes rectangular biscuits. Top of each biscuit has got a surface area of 30 centimetres, and it costs 3 pence per 10 centimetres squared. So it's going to be 9 pence per biscuit. 200 times 9 pence, 1,800 pence, £18. Okay, so that's how we do that one. Okay. Right, so then what have we got here? Jo's a keen runner. She tracks each of her runs using an app on her phone. Information about her last 4 runs is shown below. And then we've got what was the shortest distance she ran. So we look at the distances, and this one here, 3 miles. Okay, so 3 miles. And what was the longest time she ran for? So just look at the time taken and Here you go, 1 hour 56:33. Just write that one down. Just being able to read simple charts. Circle true or false about this statement. She always ran for more than half an hour. So let's have a look back at that. 29 minutes here, so no, that's false. She ran for a total of more than 25 miles. So if you take the different distances, you've got 10, 19. Oh, this is already over 25 here, so that's going to be true. Her fastest mile was under 10 minutes. So, fastest mile, here you go, 9:33. So that one is true. It was under 10 minutes. Joe's furthest run took the longest time. So let's have a look. Furthest run was 10 miles, but it was slightly less time than this run of 9.01 miles. So that was false there. So just looking at the data, true, false, and you don't need to show any working for that one, but it's good to understand why rather than just guessing. On the 10th of May, she set a target time of 1 hour 45 minutes to complete her run by. By how many minutes and seconds did she miss her target? So 10th of May, let's have a look. We've got the 10th of May here. So she wanted 1 hour 45. She got 1 hour 54 and 31 minutes. So that's an extra 9 minutes and 31 seconds there. Yeah. So you got to be careful. You just got to count on time because time isn't like decimals. You can't just say there's not 100 minutes in an hour, so it doesn't quite work like that. Right, next question. Mrs. Henry works part-time in the factory. The amount of time that she worked for each day is shown in the table. And her pay is calculated using the following. So Tuesday to Friday, £8 per hour for the first 15 hours, £9 per hour for any extra hours. Saturday, double the usual rate of £8 per hour. So double 8 is £16. Right, this is one of those questions where you'll be assessed on the quality of your organization, communication, accuracy, and writing. So final answer doesn't matter as much. It's not going to get you full marks anyway. This +2 OCW, that's the tip off that this is one of those sorts of questions. So work out Mrs. Henry's total pay for next week. So Tuesday to Friday, let's add up how many hours she did. So 3.5, 7.5, that's going to be 12 and 17. So she did 17 hours. So the first 15 hours is going to be £8 per hour. And then the extra 2 hours are going to be at £9 per hour. So if you work at 8 times 15, 9 times 2, 120 and 18, just work it out little by little. And just show units, pound signs, hours, that sort of thing is really useful for these OCW questions. And then on Saturday, she worked for 3 hours, so 3 lots of £16. Okay, 3 lots of £16 is £48. Add it on to the 138. Make it really clear that's your final answer. Say total pay, add them up, £186. On another week, Mrs. Henry was paid £188. She put 20% of her weekly wage into a savings account. How much did she put in a savings account? Right, so how do you work out 20%? You first work out 10% and then you double it. So 10% is divided by 10, move a decimal point in, £18.80, double it, £37.60. It's one of the options, okay? So it's multiple choice. It says circle your answer, so make sure you actually circle it as well as just writing it down here. Next question. Hugh's going to make vegetable soup for 6 people. A recipe for 2 people uses 10 ounces of potatoes. Puts them on the weighing scales as shown. And what's the question saying? The weighing scales displays the mass in grams. He knows that 1 ounce is approximately 28 grams. How many more grams of potatoes do you need for 6 people? Okay, so we read the scale. We read that, well, each of these little increments is 20 grams. So he's got 480 grams for 2 people. So 480 grams is the same as 10 ounces. Okay, um, so what we've got to do is 1 ounce is 28 grams. So 6 people is 3 times as much. He needs 30 ounces. So he's gonna need to realize that he's got 480 grams there, but he needs 30 ounces. 30 times 28 gets you 840 grams. He's already got 480. So if you subtract them, he needs another 360 grams of potatoes there. 5 marks, lots of little bits of work in there. It's always a little bit confusing when you got to convert units, but just write things down that you know, and even if you don't get to the final answer, you'll get marks along the way. So, next question. Sean wrote the following. We have, for the last 7 days, I've recorded the number of cars parked in my local car park at 10 a.m. each day. This is what I found. The car park always had the same number of cars, always had some cars parked in it. The greatest number was 11, the range was 8, median 9, mode 10. Okay, so we've got to know what these words mean. So range, that's biggest, takeaway, smallest. Median, that's the middle one. The mode, the most common. On one day, there were 6 cars. On another day, there were 7. What's the mean number of cars? Okay, so if the greatest number was 11, then the lowest number had to be 3 for there to be a range of 8. Okay, so we've got 11, we've got 3, we've got 6, and we've got 7. That's 4 of the days there. Now the mode was 10, which means that there's got to be 2 10s in there, at least. And there's one more day, and if the median has got to be 9, then it's got to be a 9 as well. Okay, so the numbers, so the highest number was 11. They told us that. They told us the 6 and the 7. The mode meant there had to be 2 10s. The median meant there had to be a 9 in the middle. And the 3 was because the range was 8. So we had to have these cars exactly. And then we're looking for the mean. Mean is add them up. So add them up, you get 56. And then, because there's 7 days, you divide by 7 and you get 8 cars. So the mean is 8. Lots of information there. You just got to piece it together little by little. Larry and Yvonne are sisters. They both live in Cumbernauld, and they do not go to the same school. And we've got a graph represents their journeys to school and back. We've got the dotted line for Larry and the straight line for Yvonne. What time did Yvonne arrive home? So Yvonne is the straight line. Down here, okay, it's before 4 o'clock. Let's have a look. So this is 2 o'clock. This has got to be 3 o'clock. So this has got to be 3:30. 3:30 is 15:30. Yep, great. Then Larry cycles along a straight road to school and back. How far does she cycle when she goes to school and back in one day? So let's have a look. She goes out 8 kilometers. She goes back 8 kilometers. So that is 16 kilometers total. Again, circle the answer. It's multiple choice. Martha looks at the graph and says, the school Larry attends is 2 kilometers from Yvonne's school. Is this true? Okay, so we know that they are going 8 kilometers from home and 6 kilometers from home. They're sisters, they live in the same school. Okay, but what this graph doesn't have on it is direction, which means that if she goes 8 kilometers east and she goes 6 kilometers west, then the schools aren't just 2 kilometers away. They are 14 kilometers away, because they're on opposite sides, they're going in opposite directions. But what might happen is they might be going the same direction and they might be 2 kilometers. So we don't really know, we can't tell. So we tick can't tell, and because we don't know what direction they're going, they might be going opposite ways, so there's a reason. Okay, you've got to give a reason, and this is only 1 mark, so if you just guess and tick and you don't put a reason, you definitely not get Right, next, Mice Island camping charges. So we've got information about tent covering the grounds and costs. We've got the charge per person. We've got an offer where if you stay 5 nights, the next night's completely free. So every 6th night, there's no charge. Rodri and Lars are going camping. One tent. They've got a rectangular ground area measuring 2.5 meters by 4.4. We're going to have to work that one out. And they stay for 12 nights. Their holiday is just 8 weeks away. They're going to save £15 a week. Will they have enough money? So let's look at this little by little. So we're going to have to multiply the 2.5 by the 4.4 to figure out is their tent bigger or smaller than 12 and which charge it is. We know the charge. They're staying 12 nights. Because every 6 nights free, they're only going to be paying for 10 nights. Okay? So let's have a look. So 2.5 times 4.4. Well, you can do it all sorts of different ways. You could do 25 times 44 and put the decimal points back in. You could do 2 lots of 4.4, 0.5 lots of 4.4. Whichever way you do it, you're going to get to 11. So they are in the smaller price range. So they're going to pay £14 per night. So £14 per night, and per person £4 per night. So £14 per night. They're going to also be paying £8 for people, so they're going to be paying £22 per night. So if they're paying for 10 nights, they are going to be paying £220. Okay, so £220 total. They're saving £15 a week each, so that's 2 lots of 15, so that's £30 a week in total, times 8, they're going to save £240. Yes, they've saved enough. Okay, and it doesn't always need to know why, but just make it obvious. Say things like, because £240 is more than 220, and that way you're definitely going to get those marks. Because let's have a look at the wording of the question. You must show all your working. So they might need to see that extra little bit sometimes. And it's 8 marks, it's a lot of marks. So you're going to want to show a lot of workings there, because saying yes or no just as a guess is not going to get you the marks. Right. Carrie is making a jigsaw puzzle. She has designed a pattern on a piece of paper. She plans to make each piece of the jigsaw a different color. Here's part of the plan. She sketches the diagram. And what she wants to do is she wants to find all these different angles inside. Okay, so these little arrows, they mean parallel lines. If you think back to the quadrilaterals lesson we had, the little arrows for a parallelogram show parallel lines. So that means we've got some rules we can use. Okay, we're going to be able to use rules like vertically opposite angles. So they're going to be the same. That means that this is going to be 72. Angles on a straight line add up to 180. So 86 and 94 makes 180. Because of parallel lines, this 86 and this D are going to be the same. They're corresponding angles. And then we've got either, we could use interior angles here to get that's 108, or we could do the fact that there's 360 degrees in a quadrilateral, so that would also be 108 for that reason. It works out the same. Okay, so we've got the angles. And it doesn't say anything about giving you reasons, but it's always best with these questions, especially when you see it's with 6 marks and more than 1 mark per things, which means they're going to be looking for either workings or reasons. And then you have got to draw the piece accurately. So that means you've got to get your protractor. You've got to measure 72 degrees. It says on the diagram 6 centimeters. So you have got to draw that accurately, 6 centimeters. You've got to just start from here where we know most information, draw them across, measure the angles, join it all up, and you're allowed plus or minus 2 millimeters or 2 degrees tolerance for the angle. So you're going to need a protractor for that and a ruler with some measurements on it. So, next question. Lazar wants to send a package to Germany. He looks at pricing charts for 3 different companies: Parcelmax, DirectGo, and Pack2Save. And we've got Parcelmax, sum of the 3 dimensions, 60 pence times 60 pence. DirectGo is volume times a penny. And Pack2Save, total surface area times 2 pence. So we've got a parcel. We want to figure out what's cheapest. So sum of the 3 dimensions, if we add them up, it's going to be 60 for the sum times 60 pence. The volume would be timesing the 3 numbers together. So 20 times 30 is 600, times 10 is 6,000 times a penny. And the surface area, so that's a bit trickier, but we've got 2 30 by 10 rectangles, top and bottom, 2 20 by 10 rectangles, side and side, and 2 30 by 20 rectangles, front to front. So if we add those together, we get our answer. So 60 centimeters times 60 pence, that gets us 36 pounds. Volume we said was 6,000 times a penny gets us 60 pounds, so it's more expensive. And all the different things, the front, the back, the top, the bottom, and the 2 different sides, like we talked about, if you add all of those up, you're going to get 2,200 times 2 pence, 44 pounds. So it is the first one, Parcelmax, which is cheapest, 36 pounds. Ollie has a job in a workshop that makes decorations. He makes decorations using small squares of stained glass. Ollie has made the following decorations. Okay, so you can see the little triangles getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Labeled them D1, D2, D3, and D4. He wants to he continues to make decorations and labels following this pattern. After making decoration D5, Ollie notices he only has 10 small squares of stained glass left. How many more squares of stained glass will he need for D6? So, look at the pattern. 1, so 1 square. 1 plus 2, 3 squares. 1 plus 2 plus 3, that's going to be 6 squares. Add 4 on, it's going to get us 10 squares. Add 5 on, it's going to get us 15 squares for D5. And then the next row is going to be another 6 squares, 21 squares for D6. If he only has 10, he's going to need 11 more. Okay. Then Ollie uses a rule to work out how many squares he needs for each decoration. He states that to make decoration D10, you need 55 squares. So can we check? Well, you're going to realize that it's going to be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9 plus 10, because that's the pattern. And if you actually add all of those up, you do get to 55, so he is correct. And then we've reached the end of the paper. Now, hopefully that was useful. If I went through some things a little bit quickly, then go back, listen to it again. Some things, because the workings are written out in front of us, you might have to actually work out yourself to check that it works. You might have to ask for me to explain something again, okay? But listen to this all the way through, and it's going to definitely help you. And I think that this is the best way that we can go through a paper, because checking your answers yourself is only going to be of limited use. So hopefully this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you thought it was useful and any thoughts and suggestions. And don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe.